Thank you. Commissioner, do you remember the name Braulio Castillo?
I do not.
Do you ever hear the name Gregory Roseman?
No.
Well, Castillo is now on trial for murdering his wife, but before that, this committee discovered that he had wrongfully received $500 million in contracts, IT contracts from the IRS. And Gregory Roseman took the fifth. He was one of your employees who gave him that, helped get him that contract. When you go home tomorrow, the next day, you might want to see Congresswoman Duckworth ask him how his ankle that he hurt at the prep school feels. Because, in fact, he claimed to be a disabled veteran some 27 years later, and his old college buddy, a lifelong friend, helped him get that contract. At that time and now, we rely on the ability to recover emails as part of the chain of discovery. TIGTA, Russell George, your IG, relies on that. Tomorrow we'll hear from the head of the National Archives, the archivist. He relies on your organization to comply with federal law. The question I have for you is, how can we expect you have servers that run Microsoft Exchange? It captures every email in and out. How can we sit here and expect to trust an organization in which the C drive, the local hard drive of Lois Lerner, is supposed to be the only place that email existed?
It is not the only place that email existed. There is email on her email system in the server that has been found and produced. Any email that existed anywhere, even any hard copy of official records that existed anywhere, has been or will be provided to this committee.
Right. So in 2011, when her hard drive failed, if you were properly backing up all information required under the Federal Records Act, which would include the information she selected to have and apparently deleted from the Exchange server, you would have had all of those emails in your backup, wouldn't you?
All emails are not official records under any Official Records Act. Only emails are saved that reflect agency actions. Or
would you put your mic pointed towards you so we could hear?
Sure. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay.
So the bottom line is that you apparently were not capturing all emails. You were allowing her to delete emails but retain emails on her C drive so that 6 months after, I just want to make sure we get the record straight, 6 months after she moved them to her C drive, you were no longer in possession of those. Is that correct?
No.
Well, what is correct?
What is correct is that each employee is limited to basically now 6,000 emails that they can hold on their email account, which is stored on the agency's server. The reason there's a limitation is the agency does not have servers large enough to sustain the retention of all emails. A decision was made 2 years ago when people looked at that, and it was determined it would cost anywhere from $10 to $30 million to upgrade the system so that, in fact, all emails on the server would be preserved. Because of the budget constraints the agency was operating 2 years ago, the decision was made not to
$1.8 billion in IT is your budget. $1.8 billion. On $1.8 billion, isn't the retention of key documents that the American people need to count on, like whether or not they're being honestly treated by your employees, and especially somebody at such a high level, isn't that in fact a priority that should have allowed for full retention?
If we had the right resources, there'd be a lot of priorities we'd have. The budget for this year...
So the American people should believe that if they don't have the resources to pay their taxes, they shouldn't pay their taxes, because if the IRS doesn't have the resources, it won't keep records. That's pretty much what you're telling us here tonight, is that resources are a question of whether or not you maintain key documents.